All right, everybody, how you doing? How you doing for this 4th of July week? You know, I'm sporting my USA hat. It's not a MAGA hat. Don't nobody get it twisted. Want to let y'all know
You're
right now.
coming in here with this red.
Well, red is what I do.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's red.
Okay.
It once in a while, because our colors for high school was like burgundy and gold, even though we didn't find much burgundy, so it's like it was
I
red,
use red.
red, yeah. It's like the
Right.
red Kool-Aid. Gotta have the red Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Why do they call now? They call grape Kool-Aid, but they call red.
I
They
have
don't
no
have an
idea.
apple.
'Cause I guess it's got a flavor.
What?
It should be cherry.
Yeah, it's cherry or strawberry.
Yeah.
So why can't it be cherry Kool-Aid or
Give us the red Kool-Aid.
yeah, give me some of the red Kool-Aid.
Mhm.
Well, I tell you, how y'all doing out there tonight? So good to see you all, to be here with you all on this Let's Talk What? Tuesday. Again, this is the first Tuesday of the month, by the way.
It is.
June is gone.
Yeah.
And man, it's been smoking, and it was still smoking out there today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're talking about 93 degrees the rest of the week.
I mean,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
the rain was unexpected today. I didn't know anything about this rain today.
I saw light showers, but I was anticipating that yesterday. But
Mm.
yeah, I guess it was a little delayed. But yeah, this rain really bothered my hair. I got it all frizzy.
Whatever.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to. Y'all said, man, I hate this rain because it got my hair all frizzy. What is frizzy?
Yeah, your hair looking rough. Like
Oh.
crazy. Your hair's crazy.
Oh, it's just
It's not how you walked in the room.
okay.
That's
So,
something I've never cared about. I ain't never cared about no hair. I don't
really?
care if it's raining or what. No,
No, it's
it doesn't matter to me.
all right there.
Get wet to get wet.
Our song that you heard this evening, that is Nights Over Egypt by Costello. And
Mhm.
Costello is one of our featured artists on Cruising Radio 102.8. And she started with us about 3 years ago. And I started playing some of her music. And since then, Costello has been #1 on a lot of different charts. She's won several awards. And I'm hoping when she comes, she's out in California. So I'm hoping that when she's back on the East Coast, then we can get her come down 95 and do a set for us and
Mm.
interview and everything. I've interviewed her twice, and so wonderful lady, very, very talented. So again, want to give her a shout out, Casella. Please keep doing what you're doing. That's a great song, award-winning song at that. So now, as you know, we got to pay some bills, got to keep the lights on, and all that good stuff. So let's go up there and take a commercial break. You know how we do it.
What happened was a machine came down, clamped both of my hands down, and had removed 6 digits. So I was in a bad situation. I didn't know what else to do, and I knew I needed some type of help, so I called a G Law firm. They gave me confidence throughout the whole case that everything was gonna be fine. They're not only lawyers, but they are family. Call the G Law firm. I did.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I can at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.
All right, everybody. As you know, we always say if it's no fault on your own,
Mhm.
call the G Law firm. And they've been doing this for over 30 years. They are responsible, they're reliable, and they are relentless in the courtroom. So, again, give them a call 804-226-4111 or go to the website glawfirm.com. All right, man, we paid the bills for the night. for the
Anyway,
night. For the night. So, we want to say this too. We're gonna say this again. An idea came to mind, about, if you all feel very generous, you like what we're doing, we're gonna start putting out a cash app out here. So we appreciate all donations. There's not a donation that we don't like. So, again, we thank you all for tuning in, being with us. Want for you guys to continue to be with us each Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. But we need to make sure that we can continue to pay bills and come on the air and give you all this wonderful knowledge that we have.
so
That part,
that part.
that part. All right. I got the wrong logo up there, man. You need to change out some things here. We're going to be talking about something tonight. We'll spend a few minutes talking about three little topics, and then we're going to let you go aside and join your holiday. Hopefully, again, you guys are going to call AK and all of us and give us some barbecue and some, what else? What else?
And
Baked
who's
beans?
cooking out?
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
cooking out for the folks?
That's what we need to know. So if you watching, we ask you to call in right now. We'll put it in the comments. You can do that too. You ain't got to put your address out there. Just say you cooking, and then hit us in the inbox, and we'll get your information. All right. So the question is Diddy going to prison? There was some information came out today, and you've been saying something for the last couple of weeks. What are your thoughts? Is he going to prison? In your opinion?
I think he's going to be sentenced.
Okay. All right.
Whether they do time served or he's going to spend a couple of years, or orange man, red man is going to pardon him, one or the other. Something will happen.
Something will happen. Okay.
Something will happen.
Well, they came out today and they were talking about the jury sent a note to the judge saying, okay, we're having, we got, I think it's 5 counts. They are in agreement on 4 of them, but they're having issues with 1 count, and that count is racketeering. And I'm going to explain why it may be a problem with the racketeering, okay? For those that don't know what racketeering is, here's the breakdown. It's normally involved some type of illegal activity for profit, whether it involves either violence, threats, bribery, or some other illegal intimidation or activities. Now, perfect example of racketeering. You know about prohibition, right? All right, so many of the guys back in the day all went down for racketeering because, say, this spot right here, venue AK. I'm Big Cruz. I come into Big Cruz and see Big Angie. I tell Big Angie, if you don't want to stay open, I got this booze right here. And look at me, Big Angie, because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this once. You can only sell Big Cruz booze, all right? And if not, there won't be no Big Angie.
Right to me.
Yeah, that's it. That's what racketeering is. Because I want you now to take my product so I can make a profit. And I'm going to either bribe you to do it, I am going to force you to do it, or I'm going to intimidate you, or I'm going to, other legal activities to burn your place down or intimidate the customers and everything like that. That's the racketeering problem. Now, the question is, where did Diddy and any of this try to do any of that for profit?
I don't think he's trying to do anything for profit.
Exactly. So that's the part that in my little legal beagle mindset is where I see the problem is going to be with the racketeering.
I don't think he's trying to do anything. Not for profit. He has plenty of money.
Right.
I think he was just a freak. He just
Well, those other charges, they're gonna when they're talking about transporting people across state lines for prostitution, which transporting somebody across state line is a felony, and so depending on the degree of that, they can probably get him there. I think they can get him on. I think there's a couple others charges involved in that. So I'm like you.
So if I'm willing to come across, is that still?
If you're willing to come across and you're involved in those illicit affairs, that's a different level. That's prostitution, period. But interstate prostitute, or and they said somebody tried to say kidnapping. I don't know what the kidnapping came in at. Uh, Holding people against their will and
Well,
all that.
apparently those girls knew they was coming over. I mean, they were ready to go.
Well, that's an excellent point. Is this all consensual or was it some threat being made? Now that could be another thing is that profit don't always mean for money. It could be profitable for him to come over there and get his little, whatever they were doing, but he used threat or bribery or some type of coercion to get those people there.
He may have promised him something.
Yeah, but
And he may have promised him some money.
promise is one thing, but if I'm telling you, look, if you don't come over here, and take care of my boys, this, that, and the third, can happen to you, that's a whole different level of conversation.
Yeah, but how did he find these girls?
Well, that's
Somebody had a conversation to have a conversation to have a conversation.
right. Well, what's her name? The little girl that he was beating up in allegedly.
Cassie?
Yeah. Now they said she made some of those arrangements. So now, is she? What's the word I like to use? Is she culpable in terms of? Did she make a deal with the prosecutor saying, "Well, you helped facilitate this, so we're going to make a deal with you to testify against them."
Good.
Yep. Same thing with the male prostitute. Allegedly, she is the one that contacted him, but she's saying Diddy forced her or made her. You know, so that's
Well, of
why.
course you said, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that was the case.
So you think everything she basically did, she did on her own?
Yeah.
Let's ask the studio audience. Audience, by a show of clap, a round of applause. Do you think that Diddy going to jail? If you think he going to jail, say yeah. If you don't think he going to jail, say no.
You talking about that one studio audience? Yeah.
That's studio. Well, somebody calling in.
Everybody know. Yeah, I'm on that side.
Somebody calling in to cast their vote on this one. So I'm going to put it out there. Before we go to the next topic, what do you all think about this? Will Diddy be doing the do in prison?
They're probably not doing nothing in prison.
Well,
He don't need nothing in that snitching on him right now.
true.
Nothing. Mm-mm.
And they say he can't get to his beard coloring and hair coloring and all that. So he white as snow.
Mm.
You know,
Stress out.
dress, and then he's showing his age. And like I said, man, that is a lot. When
How old is he at this point?
Diddy is like mid-40s.
That's all.
Yeah,
Get the hell out of here. No.
let's look at him.
I
Let's
think
see.
that thing was older than that.
You think?
40s?
I think so. You think
He's doing a whole,
somebody put it out there? All
he
right.
did a whole lot for just
Audience, tell us, tell us
how
how
old is
old is Diddy?
Yeah. How old is it?
We want to know. That's the question for now. How old is it? He's 55.
55.
Okay. So, yeah, he would have a little gray hair, but they say he is just like total gray, just total white. So,
Stressed.
thinking about because he has never probably been, not being able to be out on bond. And having to be, incarcerated and don't know, who might be coming after him, whatever. Now, what's his name? Suge Knight. I don't know why they keep letting Suge Knight just be all kind of conversation. How in the hell he get a phone to be on doing a podcast anyway? He doing time.
I thought he's in jail, right?
Right. But every time they always call and want to get his opinion.
He doing a podcast.
Yeah. He got a.
So they call him from jail.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you do that? So allegedly, he's saying that he's gonna be dropping a bombshell about all this. I was like, okay,
Everything and everybody's gonna come out after this.
right.
So everybody just get ready.
Well, there's some
They ain't do no
celebrities.
talking now, but they get ready to do a whole lot of talking later.
Some celebrities they left. They said, and this could be coincidental. Said, Usher left and he went to France. A couple of more people left and went to France because I guess they can't be extradited or asked any questions over there. So it's so much speculation. They done drug everybody. They got Oprah, they got TD Jakes, they got.
So what was the point of Kanye coming into court that day?
I heard he said he was there for support. Who knows with Kanye? He's gonna try to get 15 minutes of fame whenever. And they say he made some type of wild statement about it. So y'all know what he said. Come on, talk to us tonight. We ain't gonna spend a lot of time on this, but what first, do you think he's going to jail? And if he goes, will the Orange Man pardon him? Yeah. So now there's a big difference. Some people, like he did with Larry Hoover, he didn't pardon Larry Hoover. He just commuted his sentence. And the commuting only was for the federal charges. Didn't have anything to do because Larry Hoover still has about 20 more life sentences in terms of state. So he did all that for nothing. Just again, this man wake up and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." That's a whole nother subject all by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just whatever he decides to do, he gonna try that. So
Yeah.
all right.
Well, did it? I don't know. Well, his jury is made up of 8 men and 4 women. The ages run from 30 to 74
Okay.
years old.
So I got somebody 74 on there.
Yes. The oldest one is 74.
Wow. I wonder which one. They said there's one juror on there that is just giving everybody hell. I wonder if it's the 74-year-old because that
Whoever he paid.
that isn't that person is cantankerous.
Paid.
So, right. Promise something. That is like wow, man. Y'all get y'all people. Get your people, man, because if they out here wilding out and everything, can't help y'all. Cannot help you. But only 4 women.
8 men, 4 women.
So if you were on there and you're a woman, you listen to all this, give us a peep into your mind. What
I
would
don't know
you
because I think I missed a lot. I don't know.
think?
But I would love to be on this jury right here. Oh my God. I would love to be on this.
To hear all the salacious details, and I'm like, man, that's
In the jury room, somebody says something stupid. I'm like, look, what did you hear? Where'd you get that from? That's not what I heard. Where'd you hear that? What are you talking about?
Right? Oh man, I can just only imagine the deliberation right now. What the world they talking about? How much of that goes back to the baby oil? How much of it's gonna go back to him beating up on Cassie? How much speculation? They even do what's his name? Carl Winslow. They had him in the mix for me.
Yeah.
So again, who do you find as credible, and who do you believe? So
I think whoever picked the juror with the 8 men was smart.
okay,
I thought that was the smart move.
okay,
When I realized after reading, because I didn't know who was on the jury, I read that today,
right,
that it was 8 men, 4 women. So they were smart enough not to put more women than men,
okay.
because those doggone women probably would have ate his ass up. I got a feeling those women would have ate his behind up.
Yeah,
Just from seeing the whole Cassie thing being dragged and kicked and whatever.
right.
But I think those men is what is what's stopping a lot of stuff right there.
Probably
It
so.
ain't them damn women.
They
I
probably
let
want
the
to give
guys.
up and give. Did it happen? I know. You know.
You did what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my boy. My guy. My guy, what's up?
What we don't know, I didn't read how many were black and how many were white or Hispanic or whatever the case may be. I didn't read that. So I
Okay.
don't know how, but I'm curious.
That, the book will be out soon. Somebody gonna write a book. I'll tell you right now, as sure
Yeah.
as we sitting here, there will be a book,
And then they can't come together on the first count, but they came together on 2, 3, 4, 5.
right.
So that's gonna be interesting.
It is. So now you got one.
Well, I want to talk about Smokey for a little bit
Okay.
because I just read today that Smokey is countersuing for defamation. It was 4 employees. What I didn't know is the 4 employees used Jane Doe. They didn't even use their freaking real name when they filed the suit. Is that even legal? Can you do that?
Apparently, because remember, the Diddy trial, there was a Jane Doe that testified.
Okay.
So I guess you could make some type of arrangement with the defense attorney and with the prosecutor, say, I want to keep my anonymity.
Okay. So Smokey was like, if it's his 4 employees, they need to refile and put out their names, is what he's requesting.
Ah,
And he's out here trying to sue for $5 million, knowing these girls ain't got 2 nickels to rub together. These 4 girls don't even probably have 2 nickels, right? So this is going to be interesting.
so now, if I'm not mistaken, they're charging him with sexual assault or sexual harassment or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And then I read where the wife has text messages from the 4,
Okay.
different times, inviting them to family functions and the children parties and dinners and all kind of stuff. So it was acting like they were like this family. And now
Wow.
you went from here to here,
That's wild.
So
you
they got
didn't-
all of those text messages, and some stuff has been erased. But yeah, just hit the red button.
So apparently, allegedly,
Hit the red button.
he's had these people. Look, y'all calling the wrong number tonight, now.
Yeah,
He's busy.
I don't even know why anybody calling me.
Anyway,
Stop calling my phone. Stop
unless,
calling my phone.
unless y'all invite her to a barbecue or something,
Stop calling my phone.
And it's too early to say happy birthday right now.
Mm,
We're gonna talk about that at the end of the show. Somebody getting younger.
whatever.
All right.
Anyway, but yeah. So $5 million. Smokey is countersuing, coming after those 4 employees. Let's see how that works. They didn't leave Smokey alone. Leave this man alone.
I know it.
Leave this man alone, man. I don't even know if I believe in this one. Because they asked for that certain amount. It wasn't even a whole lot of money
right.
that they asked for. So it's like y'all just need a couple of dollars so y'all can get back across the border. I don't know what the hell it is. But leave this man alone.
Not across the border.
And what getting me with these women is it's like they wait for like a perfect moment, a perfect time, but they don't say anything when this stuff is happening. I have really got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I really got a problem with that because you're not going to do all these things to me and think I'm just going to sit for years. I'm not sitting for years.
Right.
So what are you so scared of? Your job for real? So that tells you your principles, your morals is more important than someone doing something to you that's harmful and you didn't say anything.
Right.
That's what that tells me about every woman, and especially in the Bill Cosby case as well. Man, leave these people alone. Go on about your business.
And that's what they were saying, about the Robin Givens and Mike Tyson situation. And another young lady went up there is like, what did you think was going to happen if you're going up to, especially somebody like him, you're going up to their room at 2 o'clock in the morning. You ain't going there to play bingo.
Right.
that ain't
Right.
about to happen.
Right.
So, it can easily be said that, okay, maybe the sex got a little rough. Now all of a sudden you got a problem with it,
Mhm.
but you didn't have a problem with it when I was buying you lobster and steak downstairs and getting your henny on and all that.
Mhm.
And then you started winking at me when we went upstairs, and all of a sudden now you don't want to do a little something.
But the thing about it is, if she said no, then no is no. Roll your ass over. I'm going home. If I said no, it means it's no.
But if you saying no and laughing,
I don't care if I'm laughing butt naked. If I said no, the answer is no.
Okay.
It's no, period.
I can agree with that.
Okay.
If a woman said no, that's it. I don't
That's
care.
it.
You just take your little blue balls, go in the bathroom, and take a shower.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's no.
It is. And, and here's the thing, sometimes it gets sticky in marriages. There's been plenty of conversations and cases that come up about, can a wife tell a husband no? And is it rape if he goes ahead and
Yes.
continues?
He know what the hell no means. Of course it is. I don't care if I'm married to your answer or not. If I say no, roll your ass over as well.
I'm gonna have to bring a couple of preachers in on that. I'm not gonna go there
I don't know.
tonight.
You gonna bring these preachers in. Okay. I
Yeah.
bring them in.
I'm gonna have to bring a couple preachers in because there is only one reason that I've ever studied that says you can't tell your husband no. But I'm gonna let another preacher tell you that. Yep. I know I got some people looking on that one. Y'all better study because it's in there.
Okay.
It's in the
Is it what?
It's in 1 Corinthians.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care where it is in the Bible.
Uh-oh.
If I said no, roll your ass over. The no
Well,
is no.
You can say no.
Yes, we can say no. Would you
You
gonna take
can say
it?
no. No.
Is that what you're saying?
But there's conditions to that no.
What's the conditions to the no?
I ain't gonna tell you right now. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that for next time. Y'all come on back now. You hear?
The conditions is, you know what NO means,
Right?
and if you don't know what NO means, you know what it means.
The condition is, and it still goes back to respect, because if your wife tells you no,
Yeah.
then you need to have enough respect for your wife to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, regardless of whatever the reason is, it's a no.
No, not tonight, honey.
Yeah, right. And so
Yeah.
forcing, and that's not. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. God wouldn't want a husband taking nothing from anybody or wife or whatever it may be, because you're supposed to give yourself willingly, and love and compassion and stuff like that. So I think a lot of times people try to use this one scripture and get it twisted.
There's one in the Bible.
Yeah, it is. It talks about that your body is not your own, the husband's body is not his own,
Okay.
and that you refrain from any type of intimacy to go in prayer. And that's the premise of, okay, something's going on here. She doesn't feel good. I know, there's something going on in our marriage. So we're not going to be intimate at night. We're going to go in prayer. We're not going to, whatever the situation going to be.
So there's somewhere saying that we're supposed to have some prayer, and before we really make the final decision. Is that what you're saying?
That's the part of reframing from saying, because, well,
So instead of saying no, say we're going to go into some prayer.
we're going to go into consultation about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We can go and pray. And I'm like, Lord, tell him to roll his ass over. Because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Lord. Not tonight.
And again, that should be a respect.
That's going to be the prayer.
That's the prayer, and that should be respected. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna go and I don't have my other phone, but I will actually go to that scripture. I think it's right about 1 Corinthians.
I hope ain't a whole lot of guys listening tonight, because y'all can take that mess if you want to. But who's just saying your wife said no, you better roll your tail over and go on about your business.
I will agree with that. I'm not.
Because most men ain't going in no prayer. First of all, they ain't going in no prayer.
He got to pray for himself that he control himself that night, stay off that internet.
You got the husband that you just don't want to say no to, then it's never going to be a no. If you got that type husband.
And again, the premise is not to use it as a weapon. I think that was the biggest thing, is that I control your body. Or, like I said, you got a husband, you really want it, he telling you no, and stuff like that. Because that goes both ways, actually. It actually does. So that's why it says, men, your body is not your own. Ladies, your body is not your own. When in marriage, two become one. So you all are actually, again, one being. So we'll get into that because that goes a little bit into my conversation about communication and collaboration and consulting. The three C's. But anyway, how we get on that? How we get way over?
Louis Brown said pray in the heart emojis. Heart emojis.
Yeah,
I guess he loved prayer. I don't know.
Who is this?
Louis Brown.
all right, that's right. You got to go in prayer. I got to go in prayer. But but we're gonna bring some preachers here,
Yeah.
and we need to talk about from a spiritual standpoint, what are our roles, as men? What are the roles of women in marriage? And because I think there's a big misunderstanding. I think there's a lot of communication that don't happen, and a lot of the counseling that you get right now, is based on the wedding, not on the marriage. And I'm a proponent of let's talk about the marriage, the wedding to take care of itself.
Okay.
Righty there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, bring the preachers on.
Bring the
They're gonna
preachers.
have to bring some clarity
Okay.
to that.
All right. They're gonna say, brother, we've been waiting on this. I'm like, all right.
I've been working all day, and it's just been one of those days. I don't even want to talk about it. What are we talking about? There's no conversation. Or I could be tired and working all day, but I just have this sexy chocolate drop.
We go, y'all.
And it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna ever be a no.
Went across the street.
I'm just saying.
Just saying. Hey,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
May not ever be a no.
right there.
Or maybe, I'm married to some fool that's like, something like tonight, babe. It's just one of those, like, that's the night.
I
I'm not married, so.
I saw the funniest thing on IG. This woman came to bed, and you know how you get them those mosquito and fly swatters that's actually when they are on, they will electrocute the fly.
Right.
So
The zapper.
the zapper. Thank you very much. So the woman got into bed with a zapper tied around her, and so he waited. He looked over, let her, get comfortable and everything, and then he slid over there and did the forward move. He got his little thing. Just zap. I guess no meant no.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So yeah, she meant what she said. She said what she meant.
That's too funny.
Well, gonna be none tonight. So, oh boy. Okay. You through with smoking?
Yeah, I'm through with smoking. But when we talk about this subject, I don't know, it can't be next week. We have a special guest coming
Right.
on. But the week after that, we really need to talk about, should your husband wake you up at 2 and 3 in the morning because he wants something? I really want to hear women opinions on
Okay. All right. We can hook all that in. I think we need to have a good, candid conversation about some of this because a lot of it is misnomer. Is what we perceive something may be, or what we've always been taught traditionally. It could be dead wrong. So week after next, because next week we found out that there's a third candidate. Hey, I'm on.
that. I know what people call knowing that.
Yes,
they
ma'am.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm still on there.
We're still on that. We're still on
Are you-
that Tuesday.
You come around the corner. All right, we'll have our audience to come in and let you eat. Bye. Woo, it's all kind of stuff going on today. But yeah, we got another young lady that is throwing her hat into the ring for lieutenant governor. Of course, we know that Gonzalo Hashmi is running for lieutenant governor, along with, or is he running for governor? Don't let me get this twisted. Let me double check the information. But anyway, we're gonna have a special guest here. That's an independent. She served time in the Air Force. She was in the intelligence community, and she is seriously getting in the ring. And I want to say it's for governor. So I will make sure I check my
Mhm.
facts. But be here next Tuesday.
I thought that's what I saw, but double check
it's
just to make
Governor.
sure. That's what I thought I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Next Tuesday, she'll be here
Mhm.
with us live in the studio. And if you want to just happen to come in, let us know in advance if you want to be in the audience, and we'll make some arrangements for that. All right. So let me finish up the last. We really over our time. We weren't going to spend about 30 minutes tonight, but we'll take just 10 more minutes. Can we take 10 minutes?
Oh, this is 18.
I hope.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
10 minutes. All right. I want to talk about communications and collaborations and consulting as spouses. Now, here's the premise. Again, I just said two become one, right?
Mhm.
All right. So that means that when you all are having a conversation, anybody that's married, there are certain times you all have to come together in agreement. Well, here's the problem coming together. Too many, in my opinion, too many husband and wives are making decisions independently of their spouse. And I feel that if it's something that involves that household, that will impact that household, that whether you're the man or the woman, you need to be communicating with your spouse before you go out and do something. Prime example, if I want to go out and buy a Lamborghini, we talk about, a car $100,000.
Mhm.
That's about to impact our home.
Yeah. That's a
So,
whole conversation.
right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I agree with
It should be a conversation
Absolutely.
about that. And so we get ourselves. Uh, we forget we need to treat each other like we want to be treated. I don't need to be springing surprises on you like, oh baby, come look what's in the driveway,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
you looking at me like, dude.
Unless you're surprising me with a car for my birthday.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, if you get the gift for your spouse, then yeah, there's going to be some. I think there need to be some grace, some latitude there.
Mhm.
But if you're making decisions that it's going to impact, and I hear this thing, guys say the same thing too. Well, I go out here, I make the money, and blah blah blah. Women do the same thing, but that's the misnomer because again, you have your money, I have my money, but we got money together
Right.
in that household, and that we need to understand if we got some bills that need to be taken care of first. You got a little extra change, or I got a little extra change. We need to take care of the household first
Right.
before we go
I
out
agree.
here and do things that again will either set us back or cause some issues.
Mhm.
And too many couples, young couples, I see every day they let their egos get in the way, and
Mhm.
it's causing too many problems. That's why marriages are not lasting like they should. We see, um, guys, let me tell y'all something, man. If you get that damn mad where you feel you got to hit your woman or shoot your woman or whatever, first of all, you immature as shit. Excuse my language,
Mm.
but I know we all get mad, but that's little boy stuff. When you get a certain age, we used to hit each other and run and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. There's a time when you have to either walk away, get
Mhm.
yourself together, and then come back and have that conversation.
Right.
So I am sought out every other day, seeing where some dude and shot some female
Mm.
or whatever, and or you got stabbings going on, you got all kind of stuff that just, what are we teaching our young men? What are we teaching our young women?
Right.
You know, ma'am, did you want to be on air? You got a question? Hello? I think our guest is at the door.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I believe so. We asked if she could get. We let her in. We're about to close the show out. There's a guest. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Oh, what was that song? I can't even remember the song. It's a great day in the neighborhood. Will you be mine? Won't you be mine? I don't know. Something like that. Don't give me the line tonight because he come in there, take off his little shoes and put on his little shoes, and he just
I didn't
talk.
watch it that much, so I don't know.
Oh, you didn't watch Mr. Rock?
Very little.
Welcome, boys and girls, to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. How are you today? Great. Well, guess what we're going to be doing on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? We're going to talk about communications. That's right. Communications is transmitting and receiving. Guess what, boys and girls? Guess why God only gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth? So you can do more listening than talking.
Oh, no.
So yeah, that's it. That's it. I think a lot of problems can be eliminated if there is open, sincere communication.
Yeah.
You know, not me telling you and you telling me when we set it out. Say, okay,
Right.
here is what we got going on. Let me hear your thoughts on it, and then
Yeah.
I'd like to, give you my thoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. Even down to if you're going to buy a grill, I think it needs to be mentioned. I don't think it's a big deal that you're going to go buy a grill, but it does need to be mentioned.
Yeah, and I don't think you get petty. Some people, she's going to buy a pair of shoes. Let them shoes a Ferragamo or something like that. They $500. Then we need to have a conversation.
If it's coming out of my bank account, I'm not having no conversation.
I'll see. Here we go. And the audience better put down their hands out there.
Because if you think about it, I'm not in the joint account. I'm
Okay.
in my money. I'm not in your account. I'm not in a joint account. I'm in my money. So if I'm going to buy me a 500 pair of shoes, it's nothing you can say to me.
But
I
don't
mean, I
you
probably
think?
won't do it, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's flip that. All right, he goes and again, he's saying is, this is my money in my account. I'm not over your account. I'm gonna go out here and blow $1,000 on a fishing rod. Is that
I hope you catch
feasible?
some fish, boo. I could not care less. I'm not saying nothing. For what? It's your money in your account. I'm not saying a word. I don't care how much
So
you pay for the
there
fishing rod.
needs to be no communication whatsoever.
No, not when it comes to your account. Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. For what?
All right.
But
I
if
agree.
you want to go spend your money in your account, then you're looking crazy. You think you coming back. Then
That's
now you want
somebody
to have a
else and all.
conversation because you just spent all your money on your account. Then this is
Well,
gonna be
see,
another issue.
And that's the key is that all right, you don't want to spend all this money on the shoes, and so now we got an emergency that has come up, and on that emergency, we need to put into to the kitty together. But you telling me you don't have any money
It should
because
be in the emergency. I mean, it should be in the other account already.
you can't plan for that. If it's an emergency, your household budget is your household budget. That means
It's your
you-
savings in your joint account to pay bills. So
Right.
that money should be coming out of your savings at that point, your joint savings. Because you got to have a joint savings and you have a joint account to pay bills.
well,
then
some
it's my
people
account and
don't.
yours.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
you have to.
Right.
Because you can't come to me for my money that I work for, that I put aside, that I'm putting in my account every month so I can go play however I want to go play or whatever I want to do with it. I mean, I may be planning a girl's trip. I ain't coming to you and say, babe, I need some money.
And
I ain't
see,
saying nothing. I'm
I've
going
seen-
into my account.
I've seen situations like that where, again, that person felt that was their money. They went out, did whatever they wanted to do with their money,
Okay.
and then there, some things came
Came up.
short
Mhm.
because that person has spent all their money, then really overspent,
Okay.
and now caused some financial shortages on their end, and now they ask you, okay, take some of your personal money and help them out when your money needs to be a little bit more going toward these bills. So I think at some point in time, if you're out there spending willy-nilly, and then, things are coming up, there's got to be a conversation somewhere.
Yeah, it's gotta be a conversation, but if you're in a house and you're married or not and you're still living together, it still gotta be that savings and that joint account for bills and an emergency. Emergency does not mean that you're coming after my account or I'm coming after your account. That's not an emergency.
Well,
Because if we're not smart enough to have an emergency account already set up, we some dumb clucks anyway.
and that's what you got. Again, you have people that are not having conversations about okay,
Yeah, you gotta talk about that.
here's what we got coming into the household,
Right.
This is what we got going out of the household.
Right.
And then after the household things are taken care of, you take your little change and put it in your account. And that's how things should be done.
Yeah.
But again, too many people are just winging it out here, and they're finding themselves in serious financial debt because you should know what the bills are, just like I know what the bills are, and
Right.
reverse of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that again, there's never any doubt what has to be taken care of.
Right.
And then after those things taken care of, you go out there. If you can afford the $500 pair of shoes,
Yeah.
wear them joints. Wear
I agree.
them proudly. But just understand, if you get your account on withdrawal, don't come looking at me talking about you need some money.
Yeah, you gotta wait till next payday to read back up. Put your money back in your account, however you guys are putting money in your personal accounts.
Right. And we ain't gonna take none out of the household bills either to get you out of your deficit in your account.
I agree.
Now, unless there's something that's crazy beyond your control that happen, because stuff will happen. People will take stuff out of their account, and especially with these subscriptions and stuff. You forget something, they come in and pull that money out. Then all of a sudden, now you got stuff coming from everywhere that's bouncing. Then that's then that spouse should say, okay, that wasn't your fault. Like I said, no fault of your own. Call you.
Yeah, but those two personal accounts that you each have, it needs to really be just your play money. So it should not be no overdrawing, no over nothing. You just played too much with your money, but you made a dumb mistake. You got to lay in that bed. To me,
So
don't come at me.
You will make him eat it if your husband went out and said he spent too much money
Playing.
on
Because it's your play money.
Yeah, he went down to the Lions Den or went down to the Monas, and
you ain't have it in your account. What you doing?
he wanted to be big shot.
Well,
Pay for several rounds of drink for his boys, and all of a sudden the bill came and it's like $500. He know he only had $350 in the bank. Now he overdrawn, but he's like, you know what, AK, this chocolate drop coming. He's like, you know what? Can I get 150 for you next pay period?
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm saying, sure. I want 200 back.
Ooh, lovely.
I bet you won't do this no more, boo. I want 200 back. Then I'm in here, got a whole conversation with my husband.
So that's
because you decided to go play wrong with your money.
Okay.
Because it's really just your play money. Because if my car breaks down and something happens, then that's a conversation that we have, and we're now in the joint savings or whatever the case may be to take care of these cars or whatever's going on. So it's really just your play money. Everything else that's going on in your life that is a bill is coming from out of that joint and savings if it has to. It shouldn't come out your play money.
And we hope we help somebody tonight because, again, I see too many conversations out here and where people are getting into financial hardships or having breakups because they're not, like I said, first of all, they're not setting them up the foundation that we talked about. There should always be a joint checking and savings account that, again, both parties are contributing to that joint checking and savings account, and understand that is for, again, taking care of business. And then you have your monies outside of that you take.
Man, there are some husbands that take care like 85% of everything, and they were like, babe, you just pay these 2 utility bills and your car insurance. I got everything else. Now, in that case, if something comes up and he comes short and you banking way more money, then you need to come out of your play account.
Right.
Absolutely. You need to come out and say, okay, I got you.
Right. And there should be, it's not expected for her to do that, but there still need to be, look, I hate to do this, but again, they went up on the insurance of, health insurance. And so I'm not bringing as much money in, can we adjust how we're, putting money in? And that's what I'm talking about. Communications.
Yeah, we ain't got to adjust how we put money in. All I'm saying is if you're paying 85% of the bills and something, and we just don't want to go into that savings account and you're having this conversation with me, and I know I got several thousand sitting over here that I'm playing with because you're really paying the majority of the bills in the house. I'm not paying it. You know, I may be making a decent salary, so I'm making way more money.
Mhm.
So at that point, instead of going to the savings account with the conversation that we have, like, yeah, I'll give you $800, I'll give you $1,000, or whatever the case may be.
So I like
That's
that.
when you come in, you got to step in. So you won't have to go into your savings account.
And I like that the key word is conversation,
Yeah.
communication. And you know, for all you married people out there, young married people, whatever, you got to establish some communication. You got to know, you know, and have enough respect and love for one another to discuss things.
Yeah.
Really discuss it.
Yeah, because you'll be just dead wrong. You know, you sitting there banking thousands every month because he's paying majority of all of the bills, and something comes up, and you sitting there looking at him like going to savings account. Why the hell would you want to go in your savings account? This shit we gotta live off. When our asses get old, we ain't really trying to touch it.
Yeah.
If we don't have to touch it.
And fellas, let me tell y'all something, man. Don't you know, treat your wives right. You know, again, it is everybody can't, like I said, pay 85% or whatever,
Right.
and at least try to get yourself in a position where you are. Can you pay 100%? God bless you if you can, you know. But if you are one of those ones that's being trifling, you know that you can and you're not, then that's a whole different level of conversation at all. Because now, you know, you want to walk around with your chest, beat your chest and everything, and call the shots, and you ain't taking care of business. That's not a man. I just want to leave that right there.
All right.
All right, everybody.
done.
We done. Appreciate you. You know, it had a good conversation. Remember, next week, we're going to have a young lady that's going to, what's up? Guys, we got to give Big Will, we got to give him a shout out and put him on the screen here before we leave. Big Will is one of our star supporters. Big Will said, money, the root to evil. And before we go, because everybody always twists this scripture. They said, you know, well, you know, it's the money is the root of all evil. That's not what it says.
Right.
It says the love of money is the root of all evil, and that is called idolatry. And anything that you put before God, if I love this tea so much that it comes before God, that's idolatry. That's what it's saying. Anything that drives you to put anything before God, that's the part that makes it evil. So y'all quit misquoting scriptures out there. If you don't know a scripture, call us, ask us, send us an email. We'd be glad to, you know, help you out if we can. But quit misquoting now. I hate that. You know. Anyway.
But we knew exactly what you were talking about, Big Will.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about Big Will.
Will.
Yeah. He just happened to remind me of that scripture because
Right.
you hear it so often. You know, that how it's misused. But money, if it controls you, then you know it becomes your albatross. You like that word tonight?
You'll find one here and there. Won't you?
Hey, I tell you, that's my job. Come up with new words, but that's an old word. Albatross is the thing that hangs around your neck. Yeah. All right. Anyway, y'all have a good night. It's been a great conversation. Appreciate our audience for being here tonight. Y'all will get there one day when we come in and see us. So, I think it's time to end the show. What do you think?
Out.
The first thing that you need to do is to make sure you get yourself to as safe place as you can. Find yourself a competent attorney who practices in personal injury and will understand some of the things that you're going through. And as I tell people, for 33 years I've been doing this. I've had my own accident. So I would like to be one of those individuals that they would interview so I could at least try to find out how I can best help them myself.